Gym+Coffee. How y'all doing? So just hopping on here to do a quick update on how Marathon Mind is going. We are now flying through the program and we're kind of getting to the stage where the four guys and everyone else doing the Marathon Mind training are starting to see the kind of process working to a point where we're starting to pick up the kilometers and the miles. And the more miles we get into the legs, the more they feel like they're capable of doing this madness and this endurance at the end of it all. And as I said, I'm a few months ahead of everyone, and I kind of know maybe the next 2 to 3 weeks that when the weather's good like this as well, it's sometimes it can be lovely to run in good weather, but also it can be quite distracting because you want to do a million other things. And when you start to put in the big miles, the kind of when you're hitting up to like the half marathon size of it, it does take up a good bulk of your day if you've planned. So this is when the training starts becoming testing and you start to make excuses for why you can't do it. And that is endurance training. That's when the head starts to come into play and you start to go, I should be doing this, I shouldn't be doing this. And it gets kind of more difficult. So that's when the why becomes really important in your training. Why are you doing it? Are you just doing it because you want something to do or you were bored? Are you doing it for something deeper, more intrinsic? What is your motivation for doing any form of endurance racing? Because it is just so much more difficult to commit to it if you're not into it. So we're kind of at that stage where you're seeing some people drop off who are going, what was he thinking? And other people getting the real grip between their teeth going, I can start to see the changes coming now. And whereas 10K was such an inordinately kind of scary thing to think of a few weeks ago even, it's now something that is absolutely with anyone in a training run as a shorter run. And then your mind starts to not see distances anymore. That's when you know you're getting somewhere. So when you're running a marathon or you're doing marathon training, the idea of constantly thinking, oh my God, I have got 40 odd kilometers to run, or this, you can't get ahead of yourself in marathon training. And that's why mindfulness is so important. You need to stay present with your training and with your racing. And if you lose that, if you start going off into different worlds, then you start to lose the basis of your focus. And that's, as I said, in this modern world, there's a war for our attention. We're constantly being distracted and pulled away from our focus. And when you're running, you can't really be pulled away from your focus because it's so hard. You're so tired. You're kind of focusing on your next step. And I always felt running is a really good time to kind of problem solve because, as I said before, you're in that kind of neocortex part of your brain where you're not immensely overwhelmed or anxious because you're kind of your brain goes into that default setting of kind of, I suppose, a slightly calmer space when you're running, even though sometimes you're tired or you're blowing out your arse because you're wrecked or your legs are sore, your hips are sore, your mind feels slightly clear. And the whole tagline for this whole project, Marathon Mind Project, is I want to teach these four individuals and everyone else doing the marathon to have a party in their head and a bar fight in their legs. That's what a marathon is. It's the ability to keep your head and to keep the kind of clearing in your head while your body is screaming at you to stop. That is ultimately where you're trying to get to. And the next time I do the video for Gym+Coffee for Marathon Mind, I hopefully will have an update on where the marathon is going to be and when it's going to be. So for those of you training for the marathon, we're going to announce it soon enough. And it'll be a good marathon to do if you're up for it. A lot of people are kind of going, Jesus, could I start now? You probably could. You probably could. If you just take out all these ideas of like, I have to do a specific time or I have to be brilliant at this. If you just commit to doing something and not to be the world champion at it and to enjoy the process, then you should be okay. And a lot of people that have come on the Marathon Mind journey with us have come from base of no training whatsoever to now doing 10Ks and 12Ks. And injury is becoming a big issue, as you could imagine, especially for people who haven't trained at all. I've been injured on and off now for 4 weeks. I've had calf problems. Doesn't bother me. I'll be fine. I'll get through the marathon. I'm a stubborn git. I'll get through it. But these are the realities of the process. Part of the process is you will get niggles, you'll get injuries, and it's how you react to those niggles that really will define how you do this. And I often see people who train a lot and exercise a lot and get so obsessive and blinded by it. And it's not healthy when that happens. It's not a healthy pastime. You might fool yourself into thinking it is. But if you're completely obsessive and blinded by the fact that you have to train all the time, where's the room for sitting in your hole doing nothing and actually feeling okay about it? This world is moving too fast and we need that space too. So it's all about balance. I hate using that word because it's such a wellness industry word, and I'm not massive into this kind of the idea of power lines and inspirational quotes. But balance is really important. So you can't be blinded by wanting to train for a marathon and that's all you think of and all you do. It won't be enjoyable for you. So it's about having a bit of enjoyment out of it. And from a mindfulness perspective, is dealing with the idea of the constant distractions that we have, especially in summer. When, if the weather's good and start opening things up and you want to do things, that's great. And we should have that too, because playfulness, mischievousness, boldness, all these things are really important to us as well. We need a bit of messing in our lives. We've missed it. But having that balance to be able to still get up and do your training, focus on a run, go for a run with a mate, a chat with a mate, and also keep your purpose, your goals, and all these other things, and have a nice kind of relationship with them. So they're not there to beat you up. They're there to just support you and facilitate your life, not to take over your life. So that's it. I hope you're enjoying it. Once again, Gym+Coffee, you've been brilliant. Thanks for all the support. And the Gym+Coffee community, if you want to come and join us, if some of you are still thinking about it and you're going, oh, it's too late now. It's not. Come on, go for it. Give it a shot. How bad? What's the worst that could happen? I hate saying that because inevitably something happens. But anyway, I'm going to say it anyway. Come and join us. Cheers.